Hello, everyone, and welcome back to PC Guys Off-Grid-Cabin. Coming to you live tonight from PC Guys Satcom 1.
Okay.
Your screen had to change.
Yep.
She's lagging behind.
Hey, first time. Don't give me a hard time. I wasn't here last week.
Oh.
I had to work.
Well, welcome everyone to the Sunday Night Free for All. And with a free for all, it's pretty much we can talk about anything and everything, whether it's to do with the cabin, current events, or whatever the case may be.
Steak and taters and stop giving her a hard time.
Hey, steak and taters sounds good.
Christy says to stop giving me a hard time or giving me trouble.
Well, heck, that's half the fun. If y'all haven't been around us when we're not on the camera, we give each other the blues. Mostly I just give her the blues. No, actually, it's the other way around. You give me the blues.
Ha!
But hey, somebody's got to put up with me.
That is so true.
So who all saw my video that I posted this morning about the oil and the oil leak?
I was there.
Well, of course you were there. You were operating the camera most of the time, so yeah, you was there. That kind of caught me off guard because I wasn't expecting it to start actually running out of the valve cover like it did, and I looked down there, and at first I thought I'd spilled it, and then I actually went back and looked at the video, and no, I didn't spill it. It just ran out of there. Shows just how bad it was leaking right there.
Sandy saw it.
Oh, did she? Well,
and
good.
Christy says she hadn't had a chance yet.
Yeah, and I mentioned that other pickup I've got. It's actually sitting out back because the transmission's out in it. But what happened was when I was still driving it, it developed a really bad oil leak. And it drove us crazy trying to find that oil leak. And somebody suggested to try the dye in there. And the dye doesn't lie. Well, it don't. And it made it significantly easier to locate that oil leak. I mean, we had it found in 5 minutes after we put that dye in there. So I was already a firm believer in it before we ever used it. I knew when I put it in her car that we was going to be able to find that oil leak. I just didn't anticipate taking and finding it quite as fast as it did.
Well, we found one of them. Chrissy says better there than the head gasket.
Oh yeah, we did have our share of head gasket problems. In fact, we wound up scrapping her last vehicle because it blew a head gasket on that PT Cruiser. We used to have a PT Cruiser, and I was riding it home from work, and it right as I got in, almost in the driveway, it overheated, blew a head gasket. And that'd been the second time that it blew a head gasket. When it blew a head gasket the second time, I'm like, nope, not gonna spend the money to tear it down and fix it again. So we scrapped it. I kind of hated that because it had a pretty good body on it, but there is a time.
PTs are bad for that. Yes, they are.
Very, very bad, Christy.
A lot of trouble.
Everything I've ever read about them, and they'll crack heads really bad too. So after that, we said to hell with it. We're not going to take and throw a bunch more money at trying to do another head on there. So we'll stick with what we got. Her van's actually starting to become a money pit too, and we'll probably wind up before very much longer, sending it to the junkyard. We just got to replace it first.
Yep.
Next weekend, we'll take and wind up doing some more work on it. It's got to have wheel hubs put on it too. What is it about me and wheel hubs? Here lately, it seems like every time I turn around, I put a wheel hub on something. They just wear out, you know. She drove it too fast. That's what it was.
Turn it into a chicken coop.
Hey, there's an interesting idea. Maybe we should just take it up there to the cabin and you have a dog.
I have a dog.
Excuse you. Did I call for a Charlie? I intended to get me a dog. That's not how it worked out. I got her a dog. Excuse you, Mr. Rotten. He's getting old. He's what, about 14 years old now?
Yeah.
We spoil him rotten.
No, he does.
Don't believe that for a minute.
Thank you, Christy. She says, cute dog.
Oh, yeah. But he's still rotten. And she made him that way. Well, the other day, Christy was actually talking to me, and she was asking me about some of my adventures in truck driving. And of course, if you've been a truck driver for as long as I have, believe me, you got some stories. And I've been working for they call him a driver leasing agent right now. And what?
Christy says, "Oh, come on, you had a hand in it."
Oh, I did. I'll admit it. But what happens is when these companies, for whatever reason, they need a driver, whether it's for one day, a couple of weeks, couple of months, whatever the case may be, they pick the phone up and they call, and I get a phone call, and the next thing you know, I'm driving for somebody else. And every time I switch companies, it's almost like starting a new job, even though I work for the same employer. And so here lately, I've been hauling cardboard boxes is what I'm doing right now. But I got involved with this yahoo, for lack of a better term. I could call him a whole bunch of other things because he was a jerk. But he wanted this. He wanted me to do over the road, and I'm not really an over the road driver. But when the beer virus hit, it got to a point where for 3 solid weeks, I worked a grand total of 2 days. And, you obviously can't pay your bills when you're taking and sitting at the house. And I was trying to get unemployment for those 3 weeks. And, man, those guys had unemployment so screwed up. I'd actually applied, about a year and a half ago for unemployment. I got it for like 1 week. But they had it in their heads that I was still applying for unemployment on that old employer. They kept denying me. And I kept arguing with, back and forth with, of course, they won't answer the phone right now with everything that's going on. You can't get a live person on the phone with unemployment. So every time they would send me another denial, I'd turn around and appeal it. I finally got it through their heads that I don't work for that other employer anymore, and that I'm still, it was the current employer I have now. It's just that with everything with the beer virus that was going on, we didn't have no work. So when an opportunity came up to go and do a little bit of over the road work. And I was skeptical. I really didn't want to do it, but sometimes desperate times call for desperate measures. And I go, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, if he wants me to go over the road, then he's going to give me a sleeper truck. I get down there and no, he wants me to go in a day cab over the road. And that got to be fun because that means every night you got to go find a hotel room. And so the first time I went and ran with this guy, I picked up a truck in Houston, and he said, I'll email you the credit card information so that you can get your fuel. I'm like, okay. Well, we had problems with the fuel card going through because he wanted me to use only Flying J and use the Flying J app and enter the information into the Flying J app. Well, for whatever reason, it wouldn't work. And like to have never got it figured out where I could actually get some fuel out of these people. Picked up a load, and it was going, of course, that was right after George Floyd. The load's going to freaking Minneapolis, Minnesota. And I picked up this load, picked it up in Bryan, Texas, and it's going to right outside of Minneapolis, Minnesota. And first night, go to get a hotel room. Called the guy on the phone. I found a little old Roach hotel. I was trying to find just something inexpensive to stay in. The guy gets a total attitude with me, talking about things along the lines of, "Who told you to go to there? Who told you to go pick a hotel?" I'm like, well, when you're in an 18-wheeler, you can't just go up to any hotel. You got to find one that you can actually park in. And he got a big old attitude with me. And he finally told me, he said, "You know what? Don't even call me no more. If you got a problem, call the leasing agent. He's your point of contact." I'm like, why the attitude? I'm trying to drive a truck for you to make you money. Okay. So why get an attitude with me when you're the one that put me in a day cab and want me to drive all the way to Minnesota? So I called him up, and this wound up costing the guy money, because when I called the leasing agent, he says, "Oh, we'll put you in the La Quinta." La Quinta's kind of a little bit on, it's nearly $100 a night. Oh, and the other thing he told me was, that $35 a day per diem, you need to use that to pay for your hotel. And I'm like, excuse me? That's not what per diem's for.
Chrissy said
I would have left the truck
and went home.
Yeah, it was tempting, Christy.
But Sandy said the same thing. I would have told him where he could go.
Yeah, but see, then, in a situation like that, then the leasing agent is going to turn and fire you. And we didn't want that, because there was, we knew that this was a short-term thing. So, but we got it worked, that part of it worked out. After that, I just called them, and he'd get me a room. Most of the time, he booked me in La Quintas. Got up to Minnesota, found the place. And of course, it's all done on appointments. And the next, I got there that evening, got a room, went up there the next morning, go in to check in, and then the guy starts talking about, "Oh, and there's a $125 lumper fee to unload." Wait a minute, I'm having to pay you to unload my truck? It's your product. I got to pay you to unload your own product. Yeah, pretty much. And I have no credit card, that I can use or anything like that. And all they take over is cash or a com data check. And I have no way to get a com data check.
You want to explain what a com data check is?
Well, I'm sure. Does everybody know what a com data check is?
Chrissy says I've never heard such of a thing.
Yeah, you can get them at any truck stop, and they Comdata has an application. With the way they wound up setting mine up was I got a Comdata credit card. It's like a credit card, ATM card almost, that was supplied by my employer, and I had an app on my phone. And what I could do was, if they deposited money on that Comdata card, then I could key in the Comdata check number and write it out just like it was a check and hand it to them, and it was pretty much as good as cash. And they can go take that Comdata check and then go and deposit it into any bank account. So I didn't have that option at the time, so I wound up having to run around, and every ATM in that whole city must have been out of order at the time. Of course, we all know what was going on at that time up there. I finally found, after about the fourth ATM that I found, I finally found one with some money in it. And I got money, go back, I finally get unloaded, and I back in the door, and I went back here to chalk my tire, and I should have known right then when I saw what was wrote on the wall right next to the door. It says "Welcome to Hell." Yeah, somebody wrote "Welcome to Hell" on the wall like here. I'm like, okay. It was that was. So then from there I went to St. Paul, Minnesota. Picked up some stuff going to somewhere in Missouri. And then right down the road from there, I picked up a load going back to Houston. I was out for 5 days. And I'm like, okay, I can do 5 days. So I took about 3 days. I took about 3 days off, and I'm like, okay, I really don't want to go drive for the guy because he's got such a bad attitude.
You were gone more than 3 days. You were gone about 5 days.
It was 5 days that first time. So I took about 3 days off, and then I went back. So, okay, I'm going to run again. And I go down there and pick the truck up. And the dog's over scratching. May have to lock him in the bedroom. So I'm picking up at this place in LaPorte, Texas. It was a load of beef flank steaks. And I knew where the place was when they told me who I was picking up from, because I picked up in there for another company I had been running for previously. We used to pick up stuff in there for export for reefer containers for UPS freight.
Somebody's saying we can't hear him. Chrissy says, "Oh, he's fine. We can't hear him." So somebody's having trouble hearing you.
How about now?
Oh, the dog.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant you couldn't hear me. So I go over there, and would you believe these guys turned around and wanted a $105 fee for pallets? I'm like, I'm hauling your product, and you're going to charge me for your pallets?
We'll go put him in the bedroom.
Excuse it, the dog is being worrisome. So I go and I pick up this beef flank steaks, and then the real trip from hell begins. It's going to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And I leave out and I get it picked up, leave out. I get just the other side of Lake Charles, Louisiana, I stop for fuel. And I go back there and look, and the reefer is shut down. And I start it back up. It runs for about 5 minutes and shuts back down. It kept doing that. I call in. I said, "Look, we got a big problem here. This reefer is toast." They called for roadside and wound up going to Ryder Truck Leasing over outside of, in Lake Charles. They came out and checked it, and after sitting there for a couple of hours, and the guy, it was after hours, so they called a third party to come out there and check it. He comes out, checks it. He says it's toast. He said we can't fix this. We don't even have the parts to fix this. I'm like, I've got about 30,000 pounds of beef back there that's got to be under refrigeration and kept frozen, or it's going to spoil. So, after going back and forth bickering with Ryder, they finally sent me to Lafayette. Said, we got a trailer over there and go get a trailer. I'm like, okay, so that means I got to unload this trailer. And we get over, and the trailer had a seal on it that, one of those metal seals that you got to have a pair of bolt cutters to cut off. I don't have a pair of bolt cutters. And I asked Ryder about using a pallet jack. I said, we can get you a pallet jack, but, and then the guy gets on the phone. He says something along the lines of, I ain't got no bolt cutters. You know what he did is he didn't want to come up here and get them out of the shop. We wound up sitting there 6 o'clock next morning. Then I had to run to Lowe's and buy a set of bolt cutters before I get the trailer open. Now, meanwhile, after all that, I'm pretty pissed off because I needed help getting the pallet jack trailer. Plus, I needed the bolt cutters. The guy didn't want to help me in any shape, form, or fashion. So we wound up, it was a pain in the rear. I finally got that pallet jack up the trailer. But when you put those trailers together like that, you have to offset them so that you can actually get up in there. And then you can't get the pallet jack from trailer A to trailer B because there's a gap there. So that leaves only one thing. I had to break those pallets down one at a time and restack that stuff on a pallet in the other trailer and then move it one at a time. About 3 hours later, service manager come out there and asked me what was going on. I told her I was not real happy with the way they done me. That guy done me. She says, would you like some help? I said, I would love some help. It was about that. That stuff's heavy. It was hot. It was humid. In spite of the fact I had that reefer running on that one trailer. Meanwhile, this stuff's getting pretty warm. And I'm sitting here, I'm scared to death that stuff's going to go bad. She sent a couple of guys out there, and they come out and helped me. I'd already gotten about 2/3 of it unloaded and put in the other trailer. But they come out and they helped me, which I was grateful. And so by that time, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. I've had very little sleep. And that's on a Tuesday morning. That stuff's supposed to be sitting in Philadelphia at 11 a.m. on Thursday. So I got basically 48 hours to get from Lafayette, Louisiana to Philadelphia. Well, if you crunch those numbers, then the real fun begins. Because you're not doing that legally. All I can say is thank God I was on a paper log. Because that was some serious pencil whipping. Let me put it this way. Wednesday morning when I left, I spent the night in Birmingham, Alabama. I left Birmingham, Alabama at 5 a.m. Wednesday morning.
That's when you cook the books?
Yes, Christy, that's when we cook the books. I finally stopped in. I was already in Pennsylvania when I stopped, so I crossed from into Georgia, Tennessee, Virginia. I don't think I hit Kentucky that time. Uh, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, and then into Pennsylvania. And I started checking the mileage. I done run 779 miles in one day. I'm like, tell me I wasn't turning the wheels. I was still 200 miles from Philadelphia. I stayed in another La Quinta. Hey, what? They love those La Quintas. Hey, I ain't paying for it.
That's true.
If the company's paying for it and they're going to charge the customer back, I don't care how much it costs. So I got up there, got unloaded. Next dispatch, go over into New Jersey and pick up. I went over and picked up something in New Jersey.
Is it paper products? I think.
Oh, I think it was paper products. I couldn't remember. And I got over this place over in. No, I think it's this one. I dropped off in It was still in Pennsylvania where I dropped off. I think it's either that or.
I don't remember.
I don't remember exactly, but I was wanting to get unloaded over pretty quick, and I had that reefer going, and I take it back. I was picking up there. I wasn't unloading because I had the reefer going when I pulled in there, and when I found it was paper products, I had to shut the reefer down. I'm like, oh crap, because what had happened is over in Philadelphia, they had one of them boxes broke open. They refused 6 of them big old flank steaks. And so when I got over there and I wanted to get loaded out as soon as possible, I handed that guy up there on the dock wanted steaks. And here, man, Doc, get me unloaded real quick. Here's big old flank. That's about $25 worth of beef on that one flank. Because it was a big flank steak. Now I got to shut the reefer down because I'm picking up paper products. I had no way to refrigerate that stuff. Before it was said and done, I had to throw away about 5 of them flank steaks. And man, that made me sick. I was over $100 worth of beef. I just threw in the dumpster because I couldn't refrigerate it. And I wound up dropping that paper off over pretty close to where you're at, Christy. Cause I got in touch with you, Christy, because I was wanting to see if we could meet up. Because I was over there in Ohio. Then I went down. I dropped that stuff off. Went down there just south of Cleveland. Picked up some stuff going to. I want to say somewhere in Missouri. So I went over to Missouri and dropped off at a ConAgra, and then went down the road and picked up something else going to just north of Dallas. And they wanted a 1 a.m.
Chrissy says, yeah, Cleveland sucks.
Yeah, including their football team. Poor old Cleveland Browns. You can't help but feel sorry for them. But this load was going to Lancaster, which is right up there just north of Dallas. And they told me it had a 1 a.m. dock time up there. And I'm like, really? A 1 a.m.? And I had asked about changing it. Yes, you can. They asked me about, I asked about taking in, getting a different dock time. And they're like, no, the broker tells me, no, you can't have a different dock time. And I'm like, okay, well.
I thought it was Louisville.
Yeah, it was Louisville.
It was Louisville because she went to.
just point out to the viewers that I'm old and senile, okay? And I can't remember all these places.
It's been a while, but that one I do remember because the place you went to.
It was Louisville.
The place you went to was small.
And so I was talking to the owner of the company, and I told him, I said, I really didn't want to deliver at 1 o'clock in the morning. He says, oh, I'm going to change it dock time. He calls me back, and he says, oh, I got you 7 a.m. After the broker done told me they can't change the dock time. I'm like, okay. He says 7 a.m. I'm going to go with that. Well, in spite of that, I took and left. I got a room right down the road from this place. I got over about 5:40 in the morning. And that lady looks at me and says, why are you late? And I said, excuse me? She said, you're supposed to be in here at 1 o'clock this morning. I said, the owner of the company said they changed it to 7 a.m. He says, he can't change it to 7 a.m. We stopped receiving at 6. And I'm like, really? And then it dawned on me what he was trying to pull on me. If I delivered at 1 o'clock, he wanted me to pick another load up at 11 a.m. going to New Caney, Texas, at Walmart distribution center. Well, if I been up all night, then he knew I wasn't going to want to drive.
You would have run out of hours.
I'd have ran out of hours too, Not that made a big difference at that point.
No, because at this point you had already been out, 7 days? 7.5? Because you were out a total
I want to say 8.
You were out.
I was already on my 8th day.
You were out for a total of 9 days for that trip.
I was already on day 8. And I know I was well over my 70. But I just wanted to come home at that point. And so what it is, he was sitting there lying to me about changing the dock time because he didn't want me to take and tell him, oh, no, I can't run that because I won't have the hours of service to take and do it. Which, if I'd been up, if I'd had to have gotten up at midnight to go up there and deliver, then no, I wasn't going to want to turn around and do a 7 p.m. delivery at a Walmart distribution center. It wasn't, that wasn't going to happen. So now I've got the guy sitting there being dishonest with me, is what it amounted to. So when I got back, I called the leasing agent and said, man, you can tell that guy he can stick that where the sun don't shine. I said, I'm done. Find somebody else.
Well, you ended up parking your truck at Walmart.
Yeah.
I had to go pick him up because by the time he got through with New Caney, it was 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And he couldn't drop the truck off till the next morning.
Yeah, I couldn't get the owner of the company to even answer the phone. So my pickup is down there at his office inside of a fence. I can't drop his truck off. I can't get my pickup out. So I wound up driving to Walmart and parking the truck up there and having her come pick me up. And then the next morning we started trying to call him. We finally got him on the phone and met him down there.
About 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, about 11 o'clock in the morning. You better believe he paid another day of per diem on it too. Because it didn't matter if I was in town or not. He's still going to pay that per diem. I mean, granted, I'll be honest with you, I made some money on the deal. Okay? Unlike the other driver, he hired a driver directly, and the driver called me because he was having some problems. And he wound up calling me back here about 2 weeks ago. He said he'd been involved in some little old accident up there somewhere around Chicago. And then when he got back, the guy wouldn't pay him. I'm like, that stands to reason. So the guy was pretty just shady all the way around, and I'm just glad that I had a go between there, so I was assured of getting my money regardless. Yeah, Christy, that guy,
He does.
he did suck. That was he was a very shady individual. So,
Well, one of the good things is you did get to see places that you've never
oh
been
yeah,
to, and you saw some pretty country.
oh yeah, I actually took my video camera out and just held it up, and videoed a little bit. I wound up hitting about 7 states I've never even been to before. A few of them I don't ever care to go back to. But no, it was a good learning experience. I will give it that. It was a good learning experience. And working for a company like that.
Oh, welcome, Christian. We have another viewer,
Oh,
Christian Barron, asking if you're going to another company.
well, I'm still working through the leasing agent, the same leasing agent. It's just now that I'm working in a more local with a more local company hauling these cardboard boxes, and they believe in doing things the right way over there. We have e-logs. The management over there is they're real laid back. They're professional. I'm hoping they'll just hire me outright. But right now it's kind of hard for them to do that because the how up and down the economy is right now. But for a while there, she was only using me about once or twice a week, and then I was having to find something else to fill in the meantime. But now she's using me on average about 4 days a week. Sometimes she'll use me 5, and but it's an investment, okay? I keep running for them because I feel like at some point she's probably going to just hire me outright. And that would be a good thing because from everything I've been told, this is a very good company to work for. And for obvious reasons, we can't really say the name of the company and everything. Here's what you get into when you're working through a leasing agent like that. You bounce around between different companies and all, but it's good experience too, because every company is a little bit different. In the past year, I've hauled this beef and stuff like that. I'm hauling cardboard boxes. I've hauled pizza for Little Caesars Pizza, the raw pizza products. And that was a really easy gig because pretty much you go over and pick the truck up, drive from Houston to San Antonio. You park it, you drop the trailer at a Ryder yard, pick up an empty, come back. Okay? It don't get no easier than that. I mean, just drive over, you're there 15 minutes. Just long enough to switch trailers. And they would use me every once in a while. I was hauling used oil for a while for an oil recycler. I was going to car dealerships and pumping tanks out. Car dealerships and a few trucking companies, things like that, where they had their own maintenance facilities. And I wasn't even having to really do a whole lot there either because it was an unusual set of circumstances with them. They had a driver over there that he had a seizure. And he was off work for a little while, but they cleared him to come back to work, but they wouldn't clear him to drive. Well, with a company like that, they can't just throw somebody in the truck and say, okay, go pump that oil. Because you make a mistake pumping that oil, and then you've done thousands of dollars worth of environmental damage. So what they done, they said, hey, you drive him around, park the truck, let him do his thing. And that's all I did. I did that for like 4 months straight, just driving that guy from point A to point B and then letting him pump oil. And I'd get out there and I might do a little something with him, occasionally. Or he had to go inside. He'd have to go some of these dealerships and pick up some barrels with used oil filters. And I'd watch the hoses and make sure nothing went wrong while he was inside. If something went wrong, I could shut it down. But that was pretty much the extent of that. But once he got his credentials restored, then they had no further use for me, and so move on to the next place.
Well, then you worked for that one company that you read canisters.
You talking about the containers?
Containers.
Oh yeah, that was only for a short time. I think I did that like 3 days. There was
an experience, though.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't that too much different. There was a company that specialized in containers, IBC totes, 5-gallon buckets of any and all different types, and pretty much all you do is go out and unload it with a pallet jack. Only thing about them was, it wasn't hard work, but the problem that you had with them was their equipment was awful raggedy, just really, really, really bad equipment. But you get into that some with some of them too. UPS freight, we was doing. That was another one I took was that for a while. We were hauling cargo containers out of the ports with there. I actually ran for 2 different companies hauling containers out of the ports. That's an adventure in itself. You really have to be aware of your surroundings when you've got them overhead cranes and stuff like that around, and picking those containers up and knowing where to position that truck at, where they come in there and set that container down and go drive back around and get them to check and make sure you've got the correct containers and all that, and then you have to lock the container down and then go deliver it.
Is that crazy?
Yeah, at times it was, Christy. So yeah, then there was also the last accident I was in. That was total stupidity. I was over in San Antonio, and I was delivering to Cons. You don't have Cons up there in Ohio in that area. Cons is mostly Texas and Louisiana. I think they've spread out into a couple other states. Well, I was delivering to Cons, got through delivering, and I go up, and I'm gonna make a left-hand turn onto 4-lane highway with a divider turn lane in the middle. It's rush hour. By 7 o'clock in the morning, that traffic was heavy. I'm sitting there watching traffic, wait for an opening, pull out. I see an opening and I go to pull out. Well, what had happened was this woman come up behind me, and she was driving a minivan, almost like Mrs. PC Guy's minivan, almost identical to it. But she came up, she got right behind that trailer, couldn't see her. Didn't even know she was back there. I go to pull out, and she came around on my driver's side and tried to pass me while I'm making that turn. And I didn't know she was there until I heard BAM! So I put the tandems of that trailer right through her passenger door. caught her, spun her around, threw her up on the sidewalk. And she got a ticket. San Antonio PD come out and investigated, like, you tried to illegally pass him while he was turning. That's on you.
Yep.
I can't stress enough about driving defensively and always watching and then always trying to anticipate what the other guy's going to do. Yeah, four-wheelers will get you every time. I have seen a lot of near misses where go slam on the have to go slam on the brakes. And the company I'm with now is your e-log will record an event, but they'll generally just review the video, and they'll see what, because there's a forward facing camera on those trucks. They'll look at the video and say, yeah, some idiot took and cut him off, and then they never even say nothing to you. Company I used to be with here a couple of years ago, oh no, you slam on them brakes and that red light come on that e-log machine, that corporate got an email saying you had a hard brake event. And believe me, it wasn't about 10 minutes. That phone was going to be ringing, wanting to know what the hell you just done and why you done it. I'm kind of glad I'm not involved with those folks anymore.
Yep.
Because they used to be a fun company to drive for. Used to really look out for you, really take care of you. But they, what you get into with when you have a corporate merger, they once a corporate merger, it seems like they always keep the bad management from the bad company, and that's exactly what happened to them. They got, it seemed like they got every bad manager that there was. You have two major companies that are in the same business. One of them goes bankrupt, so they merge. One company saves the other company from going into total bankruptcy. What do? Keep all the management from the bankrupt company. Hey, if you was doing such a great job of managing your company, you wouldn't have been bankrupt.
Yeah.
Because the other company was profitable. The one that I was with prior to the merger, they were profitable. They were making money. But it would not surprise me to wind up seeing both of them go down the tubes and go bankrupt because of bad management practices. They I don't even know how to describe those people. It was just bad business all the way around. I finally just reached a breaking point with them, and I finally just walked in there one day and told them, you know what? After 14 years, I walked in and told them, you know what? I'm done with you. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the way you're acting.
Do it for a tax write.
Oh yeah, Christy. A lot of that. That's the thing you get into these days. A lot of people badmouth capitalism. Capitalism isn't the problem. It's corporatism. People need to play by the rules. And that's the thing with government is here to, at least in a perfect world, should be here to ensure that everybody plays by the rules and plays by the same rules and has a level playing field, equal opportunity. Okay? But that's not what it is anymore. And that's why you're seeing so many companies sit there and just do somebody any kind of way, because it's no longer about let's make a great product, sell it, and we'll make money. Now it's let's make something as cheap as it can. Who cares if it actually works?
Yep.
You're just cogs in the wheel. And who's at fault for that? I don't know. I actually do not know who's at fault. Maybe I'm partially at fault for putting up with it.
The people that do it know who's at fault. They just don't want to admit it.
Yeah.
But that's in every business. It's the same way in the business that I'm in. You know, we've got good product and we've got bad product.
Well, but you don't actually manufacture your own product either. You just sell. You know.
But we get the complaints.
Well, I was working for the actual manufacturer. Okay, I was delivering their product they manufactured, and man, I still talk to a lot of the drivers out there, and they'll tell you in a heartbeat, the quality of the merchandise has gone downhill since post merger. They still kept the individual brand names, but where do you work? Are you talking about then or now? Are you talking about then or now, Christy?
And who is she talking to, you or me?
Well, I wasn't going to call any.
I'll just say I work for a liquor company. That's all I'm going to say. I won't give out the name.
And I was working for a national mattress manufacturer. I wasn't going to call them by name, but they taken. They used to advertise with them cute little numbered sheep. But yeah, they used to make a terrific product. But it got to where, heck, even the last couple of ones that we got from them
suck.
They sucked. Started sagging.
Big time.
Yeah.
The one I have now sags.
Yeah, and it's not very old.
Nope.
The one in the cabin's not sagging, but heck, it doesn't get slept.
I don't sleep on that one every day either.
Well, I did offer to take and bring it back down here.
I know, but might as well keep the good one up there.
Yeah, I mean, eventually we're going to tighten up, up there full time. So, and that's something that we want to take. The sooner we can get up to that cabin and stay there full time, the better off we're going to be.
Chrissy says that's good to know. She needs a new one.
It may be that too, that it may just be one individual. They're supposed to be all made to the same exact specifications. If you got one up in the area you're in, yours will probably come out of Cincinnati. That Cincinnati facility probably would make a bed there, because they've got a plant in Cincinnati and they've got one in Clear Lake, Iowa. I know the shipping manager at Clear Lake, Iowa. Not one of my favorite people either. But I'm getting off my train of thought that I was with with the cabin and everything, it's a work in progress, and a lot of it just depends on money. That's a big part of it.
Money and time right now.
Yeah, money and time, because we're both trying to work full-time jobs, and we don't have the same days off, and right now other than Sunday.
Yep.
And so you go up there, and right now with the heat and everything, you go up there, even if we get up there before daylight, 10, 11 o'clock, it's done got so hot up there you can't really work right now.
Earlier than that.
Yeah.
Honestly,
because
even this morning we were out early, and by 9 o'clock it was already 93 degrees outside, and that was 8 o'clock in the morning.
That kind of leads me into something I said the other day about going ahead and getting grid electricity up there. Here's what you get into with a lot of these different channels that are doing off-grid. Now, Jason Crocker's probably one of the exceptions to what I'm about to say. But you look North Country off-grid.
If we could afford one, I'd have one.
What?
The swimming pool.
Oh, yeah. But even like you were asking me a while back, Christy, about doing off-grid up there. When I was in Ohio here, it's been about 6 weeks ago, maybe 7, thereabouts, wasn't it?
When in Ohio? Oh, it's
Yeah.
been longer than that, babe.
Well, we were in the mid-90s here. I wasn't hot. I pulled up to that customer location, was unloading, and I shut the truck off. I had the window down. Didn't even have the air conditioner on because
no humidity up there.
Yeah, you don't have that super high humidity stacked on top of them high temperatures, and that's what we get into here. It might be 97, 98 degrees, but then you got humidity in the 80% range.
And that makes it feel like temperature of about 110.
Oh, yeah. And it gets rough. Here's the thing with Jason Crocker, okay? He's a whole lot younger than we are. And I have nothing but respect for him and his ability to go out and do an off-grid tiny house in Oklahoma, especially with the heat. More power to him. I mean, if he can handle that heat and it don't bother him, then I'm happy for him. Okay? But we ain't spring chickens.
That's true.
Yeah. See, back in the days, I used to hang out with Fred Flintstone, okay, down at the Water Buffalo Lodge.
Chrissy says it's a low humidity year here. Is whether I'm assuming it's this weather isn't our normal.
I don't know. I can't say. I've only been to Ohio once.
Well, what she's saying that it's normally from what I'm understanding, she's saying it's normally higher than what it is right now.
That's
so they've got low humidity now instead of the high.
I used to hang out with Fred. Fred was cool. Okay, Fred Flintstone. Till he caught me trying to hook up with Wilma. He wanted to whoop my butt then, I had to take off, Fred don't like that crap.
Thumbs up.
Oh. Hey, Wilma was a hot redhead back in the day. Oh.
See what I have to fit up with? Every day. but I love him, and I put up with his stuff. But he has to put up with my stuff too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he keeps telling me he's going to trade me in, but I keep telling him, yeah, find somebody that's gonna treat you the way I do.
More like who's going to put up with me.
Yep.
That's it right there.
You're going to get in trouble.
Well, that's not hard for me to do.
Sometimes he stays in trouble. But we both do, so.
Hey, I put up with her too.
Yep. Hey.
Well,
neither one of us are perfect.
Well, I
think that's what makes our work.
Well, we've been on here about an hour already. Boy, time flies when you're having fun. I didn't know I could talk that long just to ad lib.
Uh-huh.
Well, we appreciate everybody watching us. And, hey.
Don't all men.
Hey, all women are crazy.
Y'all make us that way.
Oh, well, I do need to wrap up the video here. I know folks has got things to do. And we do absolutely appreciate you watching, and we appreciate everybody here. This has been an amazing journey for us already. I mean, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I never would have thought I'd even got to this point. I know, when I first started this, I never pictured myself doing a live stream like this. But hey, we are having fun. I told her, I says, yeah, we do it with the idea that maybe at some point we'll make a little money at it. But hey,
Chrissy goes, see, told you it would be easier once you go on. We never said we weren't crazy. LOL.
It has been an interesting journey, and we do appreciate everybody that is along for the ride with us. Hey, if you got an idea, follow your dreams. And persistence. That's all it is. Persistence and work at it. Eventually you'll get there. We thank you, everyone, and remember to give us that thumbs up. And if you hadn't already subscribed, please subscribe to us. And until next time, thanks for watching. Good night.
Good night, everybody.